Hello and welcome back to the channel. I am, as I've said before, I do these videos primarily to help out my boys. In case something happens to me, they know what they're getting into. Today, I'm going to talk to you guys about Wilsons. What I know about Wilsons, which is, the book tells me everything, and online you can find out anything you want. Let's start out with some of these old balls that they have. So let's find this one. I think this was a Pinehurst, right? You see Wilson right there. And then it says Pinehurst right there. This was probably in the early 30s. That's the way they were making these balls back then. It's damaged. It's not great, but still probably a $10, $20 ball is my guess. This one's a Cheerio Wilson. Cheerio right there. And you see the big ding from hitting that. Look at that smash and all those cuts. They used to cut a lot more. Again, in the mid 30s, I think they quit making these, primarily went to dimples. These are some of the Wilson irons, which I'm not going to get too far into. You got the true tempered shafts, which became very popular, step shafts. You can see how they have little steps in them. And these are the coated shafts, and you notice how they are tapered here and the long necks on them. I think a lot of the tapering was happened because they were still making stuff for hickory sticks. And so they had to get them to fit both of them. Anyhow, they got it figured out, and the shafts got better as the years went on. Here's a putter. I think it's a girl's putter because of that marking on there. They had 4 different styles of these markings to identify what size lady would use them, from little petite to big girl. And I think it's funny, but height is what they were talking about when they're doing that. Another thing you're looking for when you look at these is like this one. It says signature model on it, right? It has the guy's name. Signature model was usually better than autograph. So they had like 2, and this had been the more expensive one, autograph versus signature. Yeah, another Wilson. This is a championship. Sam Snead, very famous. Okay, so now you got an Og weighted up here. Swing weight too. Wilson did a very good job with making clubs more better. They had what they called the Wilson staff. Still do, right? The Wilson staff in there someplace, I'm sure. So what it was, they'd hire professionals to come in and test their clubs and tell them what they need to do to make them better. So this augment style, where they had the weights here on the end and back here, kind of a first perimeter weighting. Nice clubs. You're looking at condition, looking at the shafts not being cracked. You're looking at the grips being good for their age. It's in good condition. Big things in most every group of clubs is going to be your drivers, your putters, and your pitching wedges for the most part, your wedges. And Wilsons are known for the 8802. That's a big dog. It's a $200+ club, can be, right? Depends on condition and everything that goes with it. But G Lowe stands for George Lowe. These are the original 600s, but he also made Sportsman. There it is. There's see the Wizard 600 over here. There's another W600, also very popular. You see the head sizes too, they change. You go from the 8802, both of them are offset, where you notice this one here is not offset, just straight jean, nice shape, Wilson again, but where this is probably $40 club, this again maybe 200, these are maybe 100, something like that. It'd be right off the top of my head. Then you have Arnold, who used theirs. 8802 he made them famous. Arnold Palmer did. Then he got on his own. He started doing stuff himself. So you got to look out. Like you see this one, this is going to be something he made for himself. See the long neck on it? That's desirable, but this is from his own company. And you notice that the G-Low stuff versus 8802 is much shorter. 8813s are about the same, really, but I mean, these are like a $80, $100 club. Now, let's talk about these 3 real quick. I'm not watching what I'm doing here too much, but I noticed that, okay, so this is black, 8813, right? Get that in there. This is black crown, red crown. And then this is red on top, but it's also backwards. Like maybe they misstamped it or got in there wrong, or it's a forge. I'm not quite sure. Other than that, it looks very similar. So This one is interesting for that fact. And I mean, other people were doing the same thing. These are all Napa putters. Napa meaning heel shafted putters, right? So it's a style of putter. And you see that McGregor's doing with the VIP. Tommy Armour, the IMG might have been the first ones to really make these. I think they came out with these about the same time they were still doing this stuff over here. And this is $30, $40 because of condition. Where, you know, these are worth, you know, twice that, let's just say, and really again depends on condition. Hickory stick always worth more, could be worth a lot more. This is a Scottish one, but again, just showing you it's still got the little offset and the smaller head like the G-Lo does. Like the Iron Master, that one's long, but the VIP's shorter offset. You know, it's, you know, how much can you do? That's the same Napa style for the most part. All right, now the next thing I mentioned are the pitching wedges. And wedges, a little light added to it. Started with this guy right here, the Bomber. It's the only one of these I have. And you see how it has the stamp here that it says for sand in pitch shots. So you might call that a dual wedge, right? But it's where they first came out. It has a dotted face. Lighting's not too good for me to be showing that. Yeah, there's a dotted face on it because it's a 1930 club. In great shape, heavy head. I like this one a lot, and it became quite popular. After that was the R20s. I see a D20 in there. Here's the R20s. And they have, again, a name on it, jeans on there. Where, you know, these are worth maybe 200. These are probably worth 150. Then you come down to the R90s that are worth, you know, 80 to 100. This is, I can feel, is a dotted face. And, you know, keep that in mind. Sometimes, now the S, I guess they're, I don't know, they're trying to say sand on that. Then you got the copper ones. Now you're coming into the newer stuff. This would be out of the 80s. JP would be a guy that made clubs probably for the pros, but also sold them to the public. Whoops, get it over there. You got JP and you got RM, right? RM over here. Again, 30 years, long time in. Fluid fills where they started putting the shaft through. A lot of things that Wilson did, like putting the shaft all the way through it. Something else they did would have been the Woods. They were the first ones to make strata blocks. These are all persimmons. Strata blocks where they took maple and they glued it together and pressed it together and made it into something. But at first, I was in the 40s that they made it. So for about 20 years, they really didn't perfect it. Once they did, it became very good. But by then, their name, strata block, wasn't too popular. So usually people want persimmons, not the strata blocks. And I'm one of those. Right, so here's an R90. This is, you know, a nice club. It's saying 1933 original. So it's a remake of the 1933 style. It's got the lines on it. Okay, back to, you know, putters again, just a little bit here. Gene is a Napa style. All these are Napa style. Oh, well, you know, other people doing it too. Again, Cleveland here. You got Byron Nelson and Ben Crenshaw and Walter Hagen, Gentle Ben. It's a putter they like to use, the Napa style, but it's very similar to that 8802, which became quite famous. And remember to look at the different types of paint and labeling. Yeah, it's 8823 there. Okay, I know I'm just briefly touching on this. I don't get too far. The copper ones, the beryllium copper, they had to quit doing because people were getting sick from making it. Here's a 64. So this club had to be out of the 80s, maybe early 90s. Again, they quit doing it. I think Ping was doing it for the most part. You know, I tend to think of Ping. This one's nice. This is a 57, 58 Wilson sand wedge, but it's a condition of it. And it is probably one of the first years that, one of the first few years that they were actually putting the shaft through. You see, and they're even pointing at it there. Hopefully I got that on camera good enough for you. Yeah, the copper ones are 90s. These are made later. Staff, again, RM, one of the makers. But Staff is going to be a good club. You always want the Staffs. Tend to be worth more, but not, you know, they're a $40 club, maybe. In condition, it is. That one's probably 40. These could be more because of the R20, R90 thing going on. And that's kind of in a nutshell. I mean, I got some older woods up here that I guess we'll look at quick. These are persimmons. So there's a strata block. See the Ping right there, the blonde? See how the wood's all, that's something Wilson designed in the 40s. Again, wasn't perfected for about 20 years. So this is a 1927, I believe it's Walker Cup, and a lefty. Then these are the right-handed ones. This is a beautiful Wilson. These might be worth, because they are fancy face, they have the stuff, they might be worth $100 a piece or so. I'd have to check, but that's what I think of. It depends on condition. I have to really pull them out to look. But this one is in beautiful shape, a restored club from, well, it's a cleat. It's part of this, Turf Rider. Okay, so this one, because of condition, all the way down and wrapped, it says 150. Probably really want 200 for this one just because of condition, where this one might be 40, $50. Cool club, Turf Rider again. And this would be, there's a 3 right there. What's this one? Probably a driver. Not sure what it is. Oh, it's a 4 spoon. Okay. So we got a 3, 4, 5, but this one's in excellent shape. You can see the difference in price. Someone could restore this. Still a nice club, but unrestored, original club. All right, so again, 200 versus 40, 50. If you're lucky, happy, you get that, I should say. All right, that's all about that. I mean, these are Spaldings. I just found these out in the wild. Pretty rare to find this scale, fish scale stuff. And these are worth like $100 a piece. Someone was trying to take the furls off, but I got incoming, so I'm going to jump. We'll talk to you later.